Good afternoon, everyone. Mark's been reading through the book of Matthew. Today he's going to be reading through the 27th chapter of Matthew. This is the account of the crucifixion of Christ. How that Christ was taken and delivered to Pontius Pilate. How that Judas repented himself and brought back 30 pieces of silver to the chief priest, saying he had sinned, and they cast down the piece of silver in the temple. And anyway, they bought a field of blood with it. And they asked Jesus if he was the King of the Jews, and he said, "Thou sayest it," so he affirmed it. And then they asked for Jesus to be crucified and Barabbas to be released in his stead. And so basically Pilate went ahead and went along with their scheme and had him crucified. And we see all the torture and the mocking and spitting and everything else that Christ was subjected to. And even that his own garments they cast lots for. And they put a message over the cross that this is Jesus, the King of the Jews. And Christ in the 6th unto the 9th hour cried out, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" And of course, we see that during this time, a lot of the graves were opened after his resurrection and went in the holy city and appeared unto many. There was a great earthquake, and we see that they got a sealing of the stone and a watch set on Christ. So I'll turn this over to Mark and have him read this chapter to you regarding the crucifixion of Christ in the 27th chapter of Matthew.
Matthew chapter 27 chapter Matthew. The morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. When they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate the governor. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself, brought again 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned, that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, What is it that to us? See thou to that. They cast down the pieces of silver in the temple and departed and went and hanged himself. The chief priest took the silver pieces and said, It is not lawful to put them in the treasury because of the price of blood. They took counsel and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Wherefore that field was called the field of blood unto this day. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, They took 30 pieces of silver, price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel did value, and gave them for the potter's field as the Lord appointed me. And Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Art thou the King of the Jews? And Jesus said unto him, Thou sayest. When he was accused of the chief priests, the elders, he answered nothing. And said Pilate unto him, Hearest thou how many things they witness against thee? He marveled to him to never a word, as insomuch the governor marveled greatly. Now at that feast the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would, And they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. Therefore, when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, Who will ye that I release unto you, Barabbas or Jesus, which is called Christ? For he knew that for envy they had delivered him. When he was set down on the judgment seat, his wife said unto him, saying, Have thou nothing to do with that just man, for I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. The chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude they should ask Barabbas and destroy Jesus. The governor answered and said unto them, Whether of the twain will ye that I release you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate said unto them, What shall I do with Jesus, which is called Christ? Then they all say unto him, Let him be crucified. And the governor said, Why, what evil hath he done? But they cried out the more, Let him be crucified. And Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made. He took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person, see ye to it. Then answered all the people and said, His blood be on us and on our children. He released Barabbas unto them, and when he had scourged Jesus, he delivered him to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the common hall, gathered him the whole band of soldiers. They stripped him and put him on a scarlet robe. And when they had platted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand. They bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews! They spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head. After that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify him. As they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. They were coming to a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull. They gave him vinegar to drink mingled with wine with gall, and when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. And they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled, spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots. And sitting down, they watched him there, and set up over his head his accusation written, This is Jesus, the King of the Jews. Then were there two thieves crucified with them, one on the right hand, another on the left. They that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, saying, Thou that destroyest the temple, buildest it 3 days, and save thyself, if thou be the Son of God, came down from the cross. Likewise also the chief priests mocking him, the scribes and elders, saying, He saveth others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, we will believe him. He trusts in God, let him deliver him, if he will save him, for he delights in him. Thieves also which were crucified him cast the same in his teeth. Now from the 6th there was darkness over the land, over unto the 9th hour. About the 9th hour Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Some of them that stood there when they heard that said, This man calleth for Elias. Straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink. The rest said, Let us see whether Elias will come to save him. Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. Behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent, and the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city and appeared unto many. Now when the centurion and they that were with him watching Jesus saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, Truly this was the Son of God. And many women were there beholding afar off, which followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering unto him, among which was Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of Jesus, and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's children. When the evening was come, there came a rich man of Arimathea named Joseph, who was also himself was Jesus' disciple. He went to Pilate and begged the body of Jesus, and Pilate commanded the body to be delivered. Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out in the rock, and he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre and departed. And there was Mary Magdalene and the other Mary sitting over against the sepulchre. Now the next day that followed the day of the preparation, the chief priests and scribes and Pharisees came together unto Pilate, saying, Sir, we remember thou deceivers said while he was yet alive, After 3 days I will rise again. Command therefore the sepulchre be made sure until the 3rd day, lest his disciples come by night and steal him away, and say unto the people, He is risen from the dead, so the last errors should be worse than the first. Pilate said unto them, Ye have a watch, go your way, make it as sure as you can. So they went and made the sepulchre sure, seeing the stone and setting a watch. It's time.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mark. Well, I hope you all have a good afternoon.